How much do we owe Bobby Johnson? And how important are artists to society? Generative AI and the art that it can create are a bit like the history of rock and roll. Art and music are like towers built upon layers of ideas that have come before it. Like rock and roll, generative AI stands on the shoulders of giants, and it's a bit of a circus act at times, to be perfectly honest. I'm Raj Bala. I'm a software developer and an entrepreneur. I was previously a lead cloud analyst at Gartner, but I'm now building a company in the generative AI space. So how much do we owe Bobby Johnson? But who is Bobby Johnson? To find out who Bobby Johnson is, we have to go way back. We've got to go back in time. If we didn't have Bobby Johnson, we wouldn't have the Beatles. If we didn't have Bobby Johnson, we wouldn't have the Kinks. If we didn't have Bobby Johnson, we wouldn't have The Who. We also wouldn't have one of my favorite bands. It's a band by the name of Guided by Voices, who are literally named after all the voices that inspired their music, including The Who, the Kinks, and the Beatles. But to learn more about Bobby Johnson, we have to look at the roots of music in the West. And to do that, we've got to go back to Mississippi. If we go back to Mississippi in the 1900s, we will find a young African-American musician, 19 years old, by the name of Bobby Johnson. If we didn't have Bobby Johnson, we wouldn't have rock and roll as we know it today. But Bobby was a novice guitar player when he started out. But he learned, he trained his model, he fine-tuned his craft, and he got much, much better. But Bobby Johnson died in 1938 at the age of 27. And it wasn't until the 60s until his genius was discovered. But as soon as the Brits discovered his music, they trained their own AI models, so to speak, on Bobby Johnson's music. Something similar is actually happening in 2023, just like Dylan and Clapton and Keith Richards, who will probably outlive the killer robots. Large AI models have discovered generations of artists that have come before. But the big difference in 2023 is we have industrialized the training and the learning of generations of artists who've come before. So much so that generating new art is comparably trivial. It takes almost no effort at all. So we have created a factory whose engine is an AI model. But these factories can create wonderful things sometimes. Like this painting of Rishikesh in the style of Tagore, who died in 1941. Or this painting of Varanasi by a Hungarian Indian artist by the name of Amrita Sher Gill. Amrita Sher Gill, incidentally, was a contemporary of Bobby Johnson's, died at about the same age, died 3 years after Bobby Johnson, in her late 20s. So generative AI, in a sense, can make Bobby Johnson and Amrita Sher Gill immortal. Their styles can live forever. Their styles can be appreciated by a wider audience. So the question we have to ask ourselves in 2023, how much do we value these artists? What value do we have in our society for these artists? And what do we owe the artists that came before 2023? I don't profess to have all these answers, trust me. But I can tell you this. Artists are a fundamental layer in society. If we obviate them, if we erase them, it imperils society itself. So my ask of you, even though we're excited about generative AI, and I'm building in this space, let's not obviate the artists. Thank you very much.